come up. All right, hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Guys, let me know if you can hear me all right. All right, so I'll wait for that little delay to come in. But just so everybody can hear, sound is good? All right, cool. Thank you, Nora. All right, so one prevailing trend in the overnight that we are seeing is obviously dollar strength. All right, so we're seeing it across the board. Started off yesterday with some, I would say, pretty positive comments from Daly, and now Bullard has started in as well this morning. And we knew that was going to be kicking in. So, overall, I would say the only, and again, this is the only prevailing trend we have right now is the dollar. If you look at the euro dollar and pound dollar, both down 66, so not really like that big of a deal. Dollar yen up 116, and we said that one was kind of a little harder to trade right now. It's kind of going sideways with things. Kind of in a trend, but it's hard to figure out if the dollar or the yen is going to take kind of center stage on that one. Dollar Swiss up 100. I'm a big fan. I like this one right now. We said this one is a little bit more difficult to change because it does nothing and then all of a sudden we get a big move. 100 pips up in this one is good. I'm happy with that. It's clearing out some zones in there, so I'll show you some of those. Dollar CAD up 88. This one's a little perplexing, but I think a lot of this has to do with the recent prices of oil and coming back down again. Yeah, buddy. So I do have Kip today. Melissa's actually has a call, a client call. So I have the little guy. He's happy right now. He's eating his pirate popcorn, pirate's booty or whatever it's called. If you guys know what that is, if you have little kids, I'm sure you know what it is. It's like, I think it's like the most popular, kids snack right now. Jin loves it. There's literally no nutritional value in it. Yeah, but they obviously like it. He's pretty excited, if you couldn't tell. Yeah. But we'll see if it keeps them occupied for longer than, 2 minutes. Heard you talking to Kip before we got started. Yeah. So he is, Kipster's all over the place. He's into everything. Yeah, it's just, what are you going to do? Yeah. And then going across after dollar CAD, you can see, again, Aussie dollar down. Now, Aussie did have good data last night, right? If you look at the data last night, it was actually lower than expected, right? It's continuing to drop, as well as they had more jobs hiring back, as well as, they had a little bit of an adjustment from last week. Or from last release. Overall, the Aussie data was pretty positive. But again, if you take the positiveness of that data, because again, remember, they've already started to kind of hold back a little bit on their, their interest rate rising. Again, in the grand scheme of things, the dollar data is much more positive than what theirs is. So that's going to end up taking, kind of taking the lead over it. All right. Let's go back into today. All right, so thus far this morning, we've had some GDP statements. And again, you can say, did the autumn forecast really change much? Answer is not really, right? The euro pound is only down 7. So, it helped out a little bit. But is it anything, earth shattering? Nah, not really. I wouldn't say that there's anything out there that, in looking at this, you're like, yep, that's it. That's the move. That's what we're waiting for. It's not really like that. -7 in 24 hours is rather low for that pair. Is what it is. And then pound yen. 46 is nothing. 46 is not really a big deal at all. So, yeah, it's okay. But really, I mean, the biggest move right now, I would say, is just the dollar in general. I mean, just looking at the Aussie dollar, what's it called? Dollar yen. Those are the two biggest ones. And then again, let me dive into the Bullard statements here. So a couple of things that we have here. And again, Bullard has typically been the most hawkish of all of them. As I said, Daly is kind of following up close behind and made some really great comments. Again, I think it's, it's been nice to have somebody else besides Bullard there. We know that Bostic was kind of, all over the place. One day he was, hawk, the next day he was dovish. So it's kind of, makes it confusing. But, there's a potential for a very good dynamic if inflation starts to come down in 2023. Now, we are currently in 2022. We got 1 month to go. Bullard's basically saying it's not dropping before that. But if inflation starts to come down in 2023. So I think there's definitely an underlying kind of message to this one. How you take that it kind of matters, right? Labor market continues to be very good. Again, it's that demand, that JOLTS data. Again, it's still kind of a job seekers market, but we are starting to see that slowly switch now. We are seeing obviously Target, Amazon, everybody else starting to kind of, doing hiring freezes, some layoffs. It's kind of the first step of what pullback and things like that look like, right? Inflation risk may be elevated now as a result of the Fed's anti-inflation efforts, but this is not the default scenario. The base case is for a slow growth, but recession risks have risen, which is interesting because a lot of the market thought we were 6 months ago. Everybody's convinced definitely going into a recession. Despite the Fed hikes, there are some positive factors for the economy, such as a flush state governments, excess household savings, and still high household wealth. So again, this has to go back to that whole kind of people are getting paid more. Again, we were able to, save some, stimulus some. Obviously that helps. No, buddy, we cannot hit the keys. That obviously helps, right? When you have excess money, you tend to spend more. When you don't, you obviously you don't spend as much. So, now he's grabbing my hand and making me hit buttons. All right, thanks, buddy. Yep, he wants to move the mouse. He's such a big helper. So those are obviously factors that are kind of keeping us our head above water. We did hear data from, or not data, but we did hear news from Target that says we are starting to see, patterns of spending change. Again, the Fed tends to kind of look backwards in what they're looking at. Again, they're analyzing data. Target is kind of seeing it real world. Whoa, what are you doing? Nope, stop hitting buttons. So on this one, it's kind of like, yes, I love everything that he has to say, but if Target's starting to say they're seeing spending habits change, that's something that you definitely got to be looking at as something as you got to watch out for, right? So that's Bullard as far as this morning goes. Oops, here we go. Besides that, there was a couple things in here. Fed rates to date have had only limited observed effect on inflation. Again, I think that's only had limited effect on observed inflation. I think that makes sense. I agree with it. Again, look at the UK. Their situation. They've been raising. Yeah, buddy. And what's happening with them? It's continuing to rise. It's an environment that has not been necessarily the best for them. So, So we got that. This morning, again, we had the Philly Fed Manufacturing Index came in horrible, right? Really, really bad. Well, yeah, blah, 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 blah. Again, -6 wasn't supposed to be great, continuing that downward slide, but this is kind of a big move, right? -19 is large. Now, Empire State was the one getting blown up, and Philly was holding out a little bit better. Right here. But recently, obviously, not doing as well, right? So Philly is really starting to get caught up now with being on the negative side. The unemployment claims data, it's good, but I wouldn't say that there's, again, 228 to 222, not that big of a difference in there. Positive, it's great, looks good, but, yeah. Here you go. Here's a new one 2 minutes ago. Oh, he's going to knock my coffee over. He's going to knock my coffee over. The minimum level for a restrictive Fed policy rate would be 5 to 5.25. So Bullard's saying, yep, we're still going. We got some more. That's the minimum level for restrictive. So again, kind of another one of those just continued pushes, right? It's not over yet, is basically what Bullard is saying. Okay. Wait, what is he doing? What'd you do? You popped it. Okay, sorry. Sorry, I was like, wait a second. What did he do? He hit something, and it popped it up. So that's interesting. Leaving it up to the chair, pal, how large rate hike should be at any given meeting. Size of steps does not matter at a macro level. That's interesting that it doesn't matter. If it doesn't matter, he was the one that was very big on, let's go in strong, right? Go in, let's front load this, right? It's an interesting statement. But it is interesting here. I don't know if you guys can, the subtle text of it all. It's up to Fed Chair Powell. Yeah, so basically when you screw it up, he's basically saying, "Hey guys, it's on." I'm telling you, I think he's making a play for the top place. Once this inflationary process begins, it could proceed rapidly as business complete market share. Yeah, the labor market has remained remarkably resilient. Yeah, right. But yeah, these two basically say we got more coming, and hey, it's on Powell. If it continues to run away, it's on him. I've made my peace with it. All right, sorry. Stop. Somebody's deciding it's funny to kick the keyboard. And my arms are only still. Stop. You're going to go. I'm going to put you on the ground. You stop. He does not like being told to stop. Yeah. All right. So interesting kind of comments there. And again, I'm sure we're going to continue to see some of them through. But restrictive level. And again, yesterday we heard this as well. Yard. It's not meant for nutrition. Yeah, and it's funny for Jin, like Melissa will be like, "Hey, do you want pie or popcorn for breakfast?" Because we're just trying to get Jin to eat something. Jin is she's gotten to be a picky eater. Yeah, I don't know when it happened, but it just all of a sudden she's like, "Yeah, I don't want meat." We're like, "What? You love meat?" Like she used to be like, eating ribeyes and everything else, and now it's like, "I don't want meat." We're like, "What? What's wrong with you?" Although she hasn't said it for steak yet. She just said, I forget what she said it for last night. It was like chicken or something like that. And I was like, all right, whatever. But Kip, on the other hand, is pure carnivore. Baby eats basically bacon, eggs, and, steak whenever he can get his hands on it. He's the exact opposite, yeah. Anyway, so that's what we got. Another one of the headlines, too, I wanted to cover. Living crisis. Where is it? Session is in a recession. There's a comment. Where is it? Off inflation. Very good dynamic. Minimum is that. Where is it? There you go. I think this is a very interesting statement as well. And a couple of ways that we can kind of take this one also. Looking at this, China is willing to build ties with Japan that fit the new era. Okay. Now, again, this one China policy, or like one, again, a couple different policies, but basically China's going to take over, right? That's what their policy is. That's what they're looking to do. Yep. Stop touching my coffee. No. Interesting that they are now trying to form ties and create trading pacts with Japan. Remember, Japan is considered kind of our closest trading partner over there. Their economy and everything basically hinges on the United States. It is an interesting play, and I'm wondering, is this really China? Stop. We're not going to put stuff in my coffee. It's interesting to see, is China trying to kind of create a new Asian trade pact / deal that will not necessarily put the U.S. at a disadvantage, but start precluding them to where they don't need to go as far? Are they trying to replace it? And I think there's probably a lot of credence to that. It makes sense for China. Is it what the United States wants? No, not really. I mean, we don't want to be, eliminated from Asian trade deals and things like that. But interesting because they have such a checkered past between China and Japan. The nations truly do hate each other, like in a really, really horrible way. But interesting that they're talking about they want to build ties, right? They want to build ties. So yeah. And again, if you know their history, I mean, for those of you that don't know, obviously Melissa's, ethnically Chinese. So it's hearing her grandparents' stories and what they had to do to escape, the Japanese and stuff in World War II. Obviously not her parents, but, her grandparents are like, oh, we won't eat sweet potatoes to this day because that's all we could eat, when we were trying to flee the Japanese. Just some horrible stuff. You're like, oh God, really? So interesting that they are trying to mend ways and, yeah. But is it good for China and Japan? Yeah, probably. It makes sense. I get it. I totally get it. But that's just something I wanted to point out as well is, the time of the U.S., supremacy, even in the Asian, Asian sphere over there. Is China, are they trying to replace the United States as the trading power over there? Because again, China, obviously they're not necessarily going to export to each other, but China does have a lot of people, right? They eventually will have to bring some things in, and if Japan can provide it, sure, they can get closer ties with Japan. It's good for them. So, all right, let's go. Another update. It is official, right? The House is now in the hands of the GOP. They've taken over. The market hasn't really gone crazy off of it yet. I mean, again, they've just got the piece there. Biden this morning said that he was, sending documents through, and I don't know if it's like I'm sending them through to get this money before the Republicans come in, but he wants more money for Ukraine, COVID relief, and there was something else. I forget what it was. But basically, I think he's looking at this and saying, oh, God, we lost. This is my last chance to get any money because the Republicans are never going to let me get money after this point. And I'm not sure. I don't know. I thought it was weird. He needs money for COVID relief, but I'm not sure what COVID relief or I don't know. At this point, if you look at the data, I mean, deaths due to COVID are the same whether you're vaccinated or you're not vaccinated. So I don't know. Kind of weird. I'm not sure what he wants for COVID relief or if it's just I forget what the third one was, but it was kind of like, hey, this is a blanket statement. I need money. Give it to me quick before the Republicans say I can't have any more money. Yeah, I don't know. But yes, it was Ukraine, COVID, and I'm drawing a blank on the third one. COVID catch-all, emerging to push executive orders. Yeah, and that's kind of how I took it. But yeah, it was the standard. We need it for this, this, and this. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. God, it's going to drive me nuts now. I honestly don't remember what the third one was. I'm like, but yeah, it was kind of like, But now it's official. And again, this should bring some positive kind of trading activity. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow at this point, but it will be coming in. Overall, again, when there is kind of a joint, a mixed control government, it tends to be better for the markets, right? Because, people will be held in check. It'll be interesting to see what the Republicans do with it. Right now, only one side gets investigated. Now both sides will get investigated. Obviously Trump saying that he's running again. I think that throws in an interesting play. I think, I don't think he's, like I said, I don't think he has much of a chance to win. Yeah, I just don't, like I said, I think Republicans on the fence are going to be like, and the big question is, will it be disruptive enough if there's two big candidates? Will they be, will the people be torn in two directions to basically hand the election over just because everybody is split, right? The Republicans are split. So who knows? I don't know. I still think Hogan's not out of the running. Might be, and he may be waiting to see what happens here and then swoop in for 2028. I don't know. But maybe, I don't know, maybe he gets into it with DeSantis. Like I said, he's more of a Democratic, more a Dem favorable, I mean, being the old governor for Maryland, could he sway Maryland from, a blue to a red state? Potentially. I mean, he beat a blue governor, so he held it, and if he could have run again, I'm sure he would have won again. He was, people liked him a lot, so yeah, we'll see. So that's kind of the political news there. All right, so let's go over and let's start looking at this. What are you doing? What are you doing, kid? Sorry, Kip is. I'm trying to figure out what he's like moving around. Come on, no, we're not going to climb on the desk. You want this? You want this? No. You cannot have that. You can have. Hold on, I'm trying to give him something that's not going to cause bodily harm. Here, take that. He's like, Dad, I'm already playing with that. I want that thing over there that I can't touch. Nope. This? These two? This? Here, you can have this. There, that's what you can have. Here, you can have the Lego man. There we go. All right, so VIX. VIX is a little bit higher today. Again, I think with everything going on, with Bullard speaking, with, basically trying to figure out, listen, the data was great. Are we raising? Bullard would be the first guy to kind of foreshadow this. I think he kind of has, but I think it's a little bit more hidden in his message right now. We're up. The data's out at this point, so we should start to see things rolling back down again. I mean, there's nothing else that we need to watch out for. Obviously, Messer speaking, but Messer's not necessarily the biggest mover out there. But with it up, I would assume that we start to roll back down again. Now, the dollar is up, and this is what we have seen. The turning point for this is really the European session. Now, important to note here, 315 is really where this thing kind of hit bottom for the morning. So right now, we've been straight up in the European session. What are you grabbing? Okay, grab that. Okay, grab that. There we go. I'll sit back down again. It's basically been one, unidirectional at this point. You tend to see reversals with that a little bit. Now the question is, with Bullard's hawkish comments, again, are they typical Bullard comments? Are they as hawkish as he normally says? No, but I think the message is it's clear enough in there what he's trying to say. So, what are you cart browsing? What are you doing? This is what happens when he pounds the keyboard with his feet. So, seeing a bit of a reversal here, not necessarily a surprise. I would expect to kind of see it. Although there is an area of buyers sitting right down here around 107.72. So this could be an area. If we come into this level, we can start to see the dollar reverse and kind of continue on its bullish movement. All right. Indices all currently in the red. And again, the comments that we're kind of hearing kind of makes sense. And again, after yesterday, we kind of expected this. It was kind of we're going to raise things more. I think the fact that Bullard just said that the chance of recession is higher now, I think is going to be surprising for a lot of people because we haven't really heard the R word lately, right? Hasn't been too much mention of, recession. It's been pretty... You making noise? We've been pretty, we're not going to recession. Spenders, it's great. We're doing awesome. I don't know if you guys can hear it or not. Yep, let's make lots of noise. So, yeah, indices being there. Again, commodities also more or less in the red, except natural gas. Now, natural gas did go below that 650 mark that we were looking for. I'm sorry, hold on. Yeah, sorry. This is the 560. Sorry. It didn't get down to the 560. It actually reversed down here and then kind of took off. So, I think right now we should be looking for sells. I'll go through that when we get there for commodities. Let's start with Aussie. So, hold on. I can't see the keyboard. Okay, got to get away, buddy. Heads up, buddy. Sorry. Yeah, I see. Get it and move, please. Yeah. Yeah, well, get it. Go ahead. You can do it. Yeah, he's very independent. So Aussie, we did have a position here in the overnight. This was one of those European session touches. I don't know if actually it was a little bit earlier than that. Came in at 1 o'clock. I'm sorry. About midnight, right around midnight, right? On the 30-minute, you can see that we had a level put in. Nope. We had a level that was put in. We were talking about this 23.6 level. We did have a zone there, and we talked about taking profit on there. And we had a confirmed level right below that, but we knew that we were going to get some type of buying. Well, if you drop it down to a 15, and that's why I had it on the chart, you can see that right here last night at about 10 o'clock, we had one of those bottoms. We had a big push in a base, ascending candles, and it took off. And then at midnight, we came back and retouched it. It was an easy little trade. It was small. Again, we're in the overnight, so it was tiny. It's only about 20 pips, but you can see the whole move up. Ow, let go. You had about a 50 pip runner on this one total. It's 48 pips up to here. So nice little kind of overnight based position. Here, you want to get down? You can get down. Okay, go get it. Go get it. Go ahead. Go get it. Buddy, you pointed. I can't carry over there. Sorry. Nice little overnight base position. And then we came down, started basing. We did one of these little kind of hiccups back here where we kind of pushed through. If you're looking for somewhat of a Harry Potter trade, again, it would look something along the lines there. You didn't get the entry on there. I mean, I guess if you really wanted to kind of extend it, be like, look at that, right? You still did get into it. So, again, it's a level that we point out. What? Just go get it. I don't know what he wants. Hold on, let me move all his stuff out of the way. All right. So right now, right, we didn't get all the way down. We were hoping for somewhat of a push. I think we're still good down at this 50% level. We obviously haven't gotten there yet, but we are getting much, much closer. All right. Right now we're about 50 pips from it. So still room. Kip, what? Come here. What? I don't know what you want. Come here. Come here. You wanted to get down, and then you cried. Here, get this. You want this? Go ahead. Go ahead. Get more pirates booty. Go ahead. All right. Sorry about that. So right now we did get this. Again, the entry is a little bit hard. There was this trade here in the overnight. Right now, with it continuing down, I don't think you kind of step in front of this one. I think this one does have the ability to come down. If you look to where the left is, you can see there's one little hiccup right here, right around 66.40. And again, we've been down to 66.34. I think right now we wait for this to come down. We start looking for trades potentially down here. right? Right there is, I think, where we started to look for this one. Right around 166 flat, right? Yeah, we'll go 166 flat. Right there. So that's our new level that we're looking for. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to wait for that to come down. Oh, hold on. Okay, what are you doing? Come here, buddy. What do you want? This? Here, you can have that. You can have that. I'm not sure what you want to do with it, but you can have that one. So yeah, look for a reversal off of 166. We could even look for a failure to go lower, similar to this, but obviously in the opposite direction. Let's see. I'm going to see where we're going to get some additional help. I'm going to leave that on. So if we reverse off the 166, that old level that I just marked off, you'll see also became a 50% retracement level. So nice little sell level in there if we can get back up there. And again, we've talked about this level before. I'll switch it over to a red just to make it easy. Aussie yen. So Aussie yen. Yesterday we talked about no. Okay. Yesterday we talked about a potential bounce off this 93.60. You can see we hit it last night at about 10:30, and again, hit it again at midnight. Midnight was a big reversal area. There was a lot of chop in here, so we knew this had a lot more risk in it. Right, there's the push down. And all we did was just kind of pull back and continue our pass down. Now, with it pulling, again, we kind of drew this top to bottom, right, waiting for the reversal. Here, we'll adjust it. I'll put it this way. Some people are like, wait, where did you get that from? It's kind of like a forecasting thing. Pull that off. You can see right now, I want to draw attention to this 50% retracement level. There was a lot of stuff going on here, a lot of chunking back and forth. But right now, I like the candle formation, and I like the fact, as of right now, if this is the bottom in the Aussie yen, as this comes up again, you probably have a little bit of a hiccup right here. Right, let's remove this. Let's put one right here. Probably going to be a little bit of a hiccup right there. But if this comes in, I think this is a decent level, right? If we're able to come through base and eat this level up and push up, I think we have a level coming in right here around 93.91. Reason why is if this is the decent bottom, this is a nice top, and the front run side of it is the 50% retracement level. So it makes sense in a lot of different ways of why we would trade that level, right? Come on, Bo, stay off the coffee. I can't move my arm. Thank you. Here, talk to your friends. Here, talk to your friends. Yep, talk to your friends. Sorry, I'm trying to get back to the computer again. He is. Nope. Okay. All right, so that's what we're looking for. Again, I think there's a decent short trade here. And again, I don't know what it looks like as far as the approach right now, but it's somewhere along these lines. You can see inside of a push, it kind of makes sense, and it's not even remotely back to the 23.6. So I think it's a decent trade setup when it comes over. We got a little bit of room to run on it now, but with obviously the yen starting to drive up, we're kind of in. Come here, stop. We're in the right arena. Euro dollar. So euro dollar, we talked about really kind of being stuck in kind of more of a sideways channel. We talked about dollar strength yesterday rolling back into the market, and we did. We got dollar strength rolling back into the market. It was grindy. I wouldn't say that there was many entries for it. There was a couple pullbacks, right? There was a small pullback here. There was a small one at 4, early this morning. But yesterday we kind of deteriorated down, kind of pushed back up, and then the Europeans, you're killing me, dude. You're killing me. Pretty much since they've opened, they've pushed down, and now we're seeing kind of a little bit of profit taking come in, which is, again, what you would expect to see. Come on, Kip. I need that arm, dude. Thank you. All right. So we mark this as being a level. You can see all the basing it's doing there. So right now, again, bringing this back, you can see that it is just bouncing off the 23.6 as expected. We're going to delete that. Not really necessarily to use it right now. I'd say the big question is right now being 10 o'clock. Obviously, since the U.S. session has come online around 8:30, we've seen dollar weakness come in. There are sellers sitting here, here, and here. Question is, now that we're hitting it, is this going to be a reversal and continuation from what the Europeans started? If you are short right now, again, it is probably ticking back up on you. Know that there are a few levels in here. The 23 obviously is there. There's a lower level here that's been hit a few times and kind of acts as a decent bottom, right around 102.80. It's all right. I'd be kind of cautious with it, but right now I'd be looking more for just kind of a continuation to the downside. Reason why is, again, the comments we got yesterday from Daily, Buller's comments today, the European ones about how we're starting to kind of see us being at neutral already, which they haven't really done a lot of anything really. So my opinion on this one is, I like this one bearish. I do think that, again, we get closer back down to the parity level. Europeans, we know that they're basically slowed down or pausing right now. We know that the United States has at least one more raise this year. How big it is, that's kind of a question. But overall, again, getting this thing even up to 5%, getting a 5% return on your money in the next year, may be a little bit difficult anywhere else. All right. Euro pound. All right, so Euro pound. We mentioned this level. We were sitting right here yesterday. It pushed down, and we talked about, hey, listen, if we get one more bounce off of that, that's fine. That just gives us another hit of this level that makes this trade even better. We did. We got a bounce right at the European session, right? This came in this morning, and again, European session open today was a big one. Nice push away. Now we know we have some profit taking coming in. And again, look for that level right there. If we're able to burst through, we also have a little trade set up here where we had a decent kind of confirmation. This is the one that Ernest had the question at. But 87.95 is a decent trade. Euro pound, again, doesn't always have... What? Do you like this one? Euro pound doesn't always have multiple setups in a row, but this one has two different shorts in there, both of them kind of being, no, you cannot have coffee. Here. Oh, don't do that. No, no, no. Sorry, he just took the 3D printer. I don't know what it's called, the adapter, so you can get like the micro SD card into the PC to download things. He just stuck it in the Pyre popcorn container, and then there's like all like the fizz in there. This is like blowing on like an old... It's like blowing on a Nintendo cartridge, right? Honestly, Jeff, I'd give him the beer. Slow him down. He actually likes beer and wine. He's a fan. Yeah, he's a fan. You dip your finger and he'd be like, hey, well, he'd like this. He actually does like... He likes wine. He has an affinity for red wines. So I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, it's at my house. It's okay. Yeah, you just dip a finger in. Come on. Everybody's done it. When I was a kid, they used to dip our pacifiers and all kinds of stuff. Come on. Come on. I get it. It's not foo-foo, whatever. Call child services on me that I put in there. Prove it. Prove it that it happened, Yeah, it's my opinion on it, right? So 87.95, I like the short from that level. Again, we talked about it yesterday. The 86.90, also a good level. I'm good with those. Again, very choppy. Those are really the only two things I'm looking for in the euro pound. Euro yen. So very, very sloppy trade. So this did not trigger. This may have triggered here, but if you look back, it's kind of like, what am I going to set my risk level on? If you had changed it to more of a near term, you would have set it here. In which case. And again, in reality, here's kind of where the new level is, right? There's the new basing level. You never got an entry here. You never got an entry in here. And again, maybe you could say got an entry in here, but not really the best. After a chomp through here, it's like, listen, we need like a really, really clean break. We know we need it, 1 to 3 is sitting right there. So we knew we had room to find it. This is one of those ones that there's just been so much congestion in this one, right? So much congestion. Not much we can really do with it. Right now, here, stop. Here, take this. Take this. He keeps throwing things on the other side of the keyboard, and then he throws them and then wants to kind of get them. But that requires him going over the keyboard. Yeah. Yeah, what I know. It's so much fun. It's so much fun. Right? Yeah. Great. Anyway, I think this one is an interesting spot right now. We saw at the 61.8 level, and it's hard to draw this one because there was a base, a spike up very quickly and drop. So stop. There we go. So that's kind of where we're standing. Are we at a reversal time? Potentially. A lot of this one right now is going to be the yen. It looks like it's European strength, and everything we've talked about has been more European weakness right now. Maybe this one gets a little bit of a hiccup. The problem with this level is it's just been such a strange level to draw anything off of. This is what it looks like. I loved it until we had the big spike up because of news. So the reality is trying to find a top on this one. Again, this is more of a near-term top. It's okay, but you have to, a man after very own heart. Yeah, Debbie, he likes his reds. Um, yeah, yeah. His fruity reds, he's all over it, right? He likes his South American wines. Argentinian, Carbonaras, he's into those. Yeah. He likes those. So right now for me, I'm looking for this. I do think there is a reversal coming in. Right now, the yen's not giving us any help on there. Now he's tired, so he's trying to get, he's trying to get on my shoulder, but he's going to fall over the back of the chair. Yeah, you're calling child services on me for letting my child sample alcoholic beverages. When he falls over the back of the gaming chair, that's probably more reason right now. But anyway, I do think there's probably a reversal due. I don't really want to draw a level or call a top on it just because of this candle right here. This candle is very ugly, wipes out a lot of stuff, and shows us that there's really probably nothing until the 7-8-6, even though we have all the sellers here. Yeah, it is an old level, and people are looking at this and be like, oh, it's a 6-1-8. It is, but it's already pushed through there a little bit, so I think it's a bit more dangerous right now to really kind of be like, oh, that's it, that's the top. Take a short right here. When it does turn, and again, maybe we get a failure to go higher. I mean, if right now, obviously it's 11 minutes past, but if this is how the candle ends, I'm okay with that. And we start to push back to the downside, that could be a nice little kind of, that could be a nice little area. I like the shape of it right now. We'll see what it does in 20 minutes, but I do think there is a reversal in here. I'm just not comfortable being like, yep, that's it. Take it right here. This is a good one, right? Pound dollar. You're seeing this is the dollar, the epitome of dollar strength coming in. You can see that the reversal right there. You can see that literally yesterday we talked about it. Is there a zone? Is there a zone? Is there a zone? And we kind of drew it and said, this could be it. There was the confirmation touch on it at 8 o'clock in the morning. We came up and wrote it again. It's like, listen, how many hits we got to take? There's one, there's two, there's three. It kind of broke through the top, found these guys, and we said, hey, listen, we can't draw this. It's way too big of a risk level. But what happened? The same thing happened. Europeans came in, set this thing short. We're still waiting for 117. And again, the top is still held. Now it's here again. I think 117.12 is where we're looking. We're in close proximity to it right now. It's got to drop about another 80 pips. This one has a 204 daily ATR, so we definitely have room to run on this one, right? What? What are you doing? There we go. He's like starting to get tired, but at the same time, he's not. Here. No, you don't need to touch everything over there. It's like, kind of like, I'm not supposed to touch that. That's what I want. Yeah, so look for this one to come down. I'm looking for this one to drop into this level. Look for any type of basing around 170. 170 will be a psychological level. Look for that to pop, particularly after the run that we have here. Pound yen. So we were hoping pound yen was going to come down. It ended up reversing on us right at that 10:30 mark. We were hoping for continuation. All it did was go back up and stay inside of that really kind of same channel. What did it do? It grabbed the top here at 5 o'clock p.m. What did it do this morning? It came back up again at 3 o'clock. And again, European session open is right there. Literally provided the reversal and then pushed down. And now we're really just kind of stabilizing. So it's down 0.3. It's 60 pips higher than where we were, but is it really? Nah, we're still within the same range. And we talked about this being kind of a bigger range. That's kind of the range we've had for the last 2 days, right? That's still our range, right? So right there. Really hoping that this would go. Now, again, all the analysis on this one is exactly the same. I still think it comes down. When it does come down, we're looking for a base and a reversal, particularly how it moves. Now, again, we were here. All we needed was a little push. We would have had a parabolic move. All it did was it found the buyers here, which, again, there are buyers there. It shows right here there are buyers there. Not something I want to step in front of when we have levels down here. Stop, Kip. What are you doing? Come on. But yeah, so again, body what? This? No, there's little rocks in there. That's sisters. Here. I don't want you to touch that. That is sisters. Sister will be very upset when she gets home. Here. There you go. I think watch for the 166.27-ish range. We probably, again, right now it's a top right around there. I don't know what's sitting there. It's hit the level a few times. No. Here, you can have this. You can have that. Okay. What I need to do is I need to like hide everything that he's not supposed to have. Unfortunately, I just keep pushing it farther back on the desk, and he sees it, and he's like, oh, yeah, I like that. Here, put Manny in there. Here, there's handy Manny. So look for another kind of reversal, but really until we get down to 164.60, not necessarily as interested in this pair. And right now with 64 pips in the last 24 hours, the daily ATR is 143. So you can say that it's not really even trending at all right now. What? What do you want? You're not getting that. No. This? You want this? Is that what you wanted? Here, you can take this if you want, but you're not playing with the rocks. So there's our top and bottom. Dollar CAD. So dollar CAD. We got that move yesterday morning was a monstrous move higher, and you can see we talked about profit taking coming in. It did work in here. You can see that it did. It really had a hard time getting through that level, and then peaked above. Now it did go out to the 50. We mentioned that as being the next level up top, the 133.89. You can see we got up there again at 8 o'clock, 8:30 time frame is where we hit, and the reversal came in. Once this pushed out again, this zone was pretty much dead. Again, we had the 1 here, the 2 here, the 3, and then cycled through. Let's pull that off. That trade was good. Again, this was the reversal yesterday morning at 8:30 we mentioned. We'll leave it there for right now because there are still buyers there. So right now, again, we're seeing the CAD come back just a little bit. Is this the reversal time? I'd be cautious with a reversal right here, only because if you run fibs on this one, and again, currencies is a fib, a market that fibs are used a lot. You can see that we're sitting in kind of hovering around the 23.6. It's also 10:30, and really the U.S. session has kind of driven this back down again. I think watch it. There are probably some artificial buyers coming in here. There is a level sitting right below where we had a kind of push up in price, a basing sideways, and then another push. Watch it. I would say that there are some buyers in here. Am I calling the bottom for this one for today? Will this be, is this the takeoff point? Maybe, maybe not. But I think, again, looking down at this 50%, the 61 retracement level, the 133, if we can get back down here, and again, there is definitely something going on right there. I think this is where we're looking for reversals coming in right at the 133 mark. Again, it's psychological. It is tested and confirmed. It is between the 50 and 61.8, so you have all the artificial buyers coming in. Yes, thanks, Kip. That's where I would say look for something to kind of roll. Dollar Swiss. So, dollar Swiss. Now, we did have kind of a little bit of a hiccup. We talked about 95 being an important level. 5:30 this morning, we had the European push up. It did reverse at 5:30 right off that 95 mark, and I really thought we'd get a little bit more push. Unfortunately, the dollar strength was just too strong for this pair. We talked about it coming all the way back up to this 23. Now, it did kind of, it's in close proximity. You can see right here, right here, we had a strong kind of news push up and then a turn and reversal right back down again. So we are in close proximity. I would say if you are looking for a trade today, we're only about 14 pips off of this one. We're seeing the dollar kind of roll in other pairs. It hasn't really rolled here against the Swiss. So I think right now, again, we'll pull this off. I'm going to leave the 95 there. We'll pull that. I think we're probably due to take a reversal. Now, this level here of risk is a bit much. It is about 22 pips, but anywhere in this zone, let's change this zone to yellow. If we get any type of a topping pattern, a push up where the wick is about 50% or more of the actual top candle, and then a push back down again, that all of a sudden can provide us a new level of risk. I don't know where it's going to be in here. It could be here. Right? I don't know where it's going to be yet, but wherever that area comes in at inside of this zone, there's a potential flip because 23.6 people coming in. We already know there's sellers there. It's already been confirmed once, and we know it's a 23. So there's a number of different factors about why this would be a good area. What? I got it. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, you're good. You're fine. What? No, you're good. Yeah, you play with Manny. So again, keep this on your radar. Look for the top. It's not in yet. I don't know where it's going to be. Dollar yen. So I'm gonna continue this across so you can see this one. Dollar yen made it to here. This is one of those ones. Again, seeing this pattern yesterday morning, this is where we expected profit to come in at. Okay, it made it to a 1 to 2.74. Okay, now let's make sure this is flat before I go over this. If you want to get down, Kip, you're more than welcome to get down. It turned where it should have turned. And again, when I drew it yesterday, I may have mentioned this. If not, I should have. If I didn't, my bad. again, when we're picking our profit targets, we're always looking for that wick, right before, basically the candle top right before the big push. Well, there it is. Okay. As you can see, the 1 to 3 in this trade, it needed to go to here, which would have been at the very, very bottom. Unfortunately, this is one of those cases, if you didn't know how to pick profit targets correctly, you got stopped out on this one. Had you moved it right here, you can see that the price went past. Yes, it's not a 1 to 3. You could have banked a 2 point. You banked a 2.5, right? There we go. Daddy said no. We have to cry now. Yeah, Daddy said no. Yeah, Daddy said no. Oh, Daddy said no. He doesn't know I'm making fun of him yet. Here, have this. Here, have this. Have this. Oh, mommy to the rescue. Here, take this. He's getting tired. He'll be asleep in 5 minutes, guys, just for the record. Mommy has the magical apparatuses that Daddy does not have. He'll be asleep in 5 minutes, guarantee. Anyway, there we go. Now we can concentrate for the next 10 minutes. So anyway, we are back in a level again. If you wanted to shrink your level in this one, you could say, well, wait a second, there's our kind of refined, piece. It's actually going back to here. I would use some caution on this one, though. We do have 1, 2, 3. This is technically hit number 4 coming through. It was newly established with the lower highs here, and here. And we knew the trade setup coming off the 23.6 yesterday. Again, it did exactly what it should have done. It turned exactly where it should have. Rambunctious little fellow this morning. Yeah, he's changing his own nap times. Yeah. He was actually good this morning. He only kind of cried at the end there. That wasn't bad. We went for 50 minutes without him really having a meltdown. I have pirate popcorn pieces all over my keyboard, right? The one nice thing about having a mechanical keyboard is I can literally just take the air gun and just go and blow it all out. So we're good. But anyway, if you're looking for something in the dollar yen, we are at an area right now. We do have a red. We have a green that qualifies. If we get another red that closes below here, we could potentially take this for a short as well. And again, you can see the green, the red coloring, and we're getting the red. If we get a red that closes down below here, okay, that would be a confirmation of a trend change as well. So you could take that one south. If you really wanted to kind of get aggressive with it, I guess you could say, I guess you really could. We're kind of there right now. You could say, hey, listen, there's our top. It's funny. Even on this pair, it's still about, 22. Your 1 to 3 is only going to right there. Okay. So we are in that close proximity. It does qualify for a 1030 reversal as well. We do kind of have a topping pattern here on a 15-minute that we like. It is past the 23, but we know we have some confirmed sellers with lower high, lower high, lower high, and we're sitting there right now. Now, it is higher than the last one. You'd expect that. It needs to go higher to find people, and that's kind of what we're seeing. Now, crypto basically flat. You can see after this big surge up right now, it's still kind of flat on the day. But we do know that we are running into sellers. A bunch of different articles in the last 24 hours on crypto. If you kind of take this most recent down, kind of this down push, you can see that 50 provided something. And on a purely technical basis, if we forgot that this was crypto, you can see we are coming up to an area where, again, we are looking for somewhat of another reversal. So again, Bitcoin is in an area we're looking for sellers. Again, the same pop. I'll continue this line across. You can see buyer stepped in. That's why we're very, very careful. We don't take it all the way down. Again, pop and pop, actually 3 pops off of it. So kind of in the same, taking fibs from high to low on this one. You can see we're kind of in the same thing. We're past the 23. There's an area here. Ethereum also setting up. Dogecoin, it's up 1%, but is it really? Not really, right? Here, I'll put it back down to a 30-minute. You can say, oh, it's green. Is it? Is it green, guys? Is it? Not so much. So, yeah. TLT, also negative. Now, this is interesting, too, because, whoops. What did I just do? Jamie, sir. It is kind of down from where we closed yesterday. It's still higher than where we were this time yesterday, so it's there. We are above the 100 mark. We ended up getting up to 101 yesterday. Actually, I guess 101.40-ish. With the dollar weakness, or I'm sorry, the dollar strength coming in, you would expect this to run back down again in the overnight. So it's kind of doing what it's supposed to do. I think this one's an interesting one to watch right now, just because of everything that we've heard. Recession, not not in session. The rates will eventually start to help this one again. I don't think this short trade is over yet, particularly because, again, we are going to continue to raise. The comments this morning about if it ends in 2023. I hope the God inflation is not continuing to rise all the way through 2023. That would kind of stink. But yeah. So anyway, that's what we got going on with bonds. Commodities. All right. So oil. We mentioned this level in oil yesterday, and we said, hey, listen, it's not the freshest of levels. We had it here. We kind of hit it here. We hit it here, and even here. 1, 2, 3, and then we kind of gapped through. So it wasn't necessarily a level we could use. Now, on the short side of things, you can see, arguably there's a level there, but we would have to go to something more near term. You can see we've pulled back up now. And where we are right now with oil, I think it's pretty interesting because, and I mentioned this before, I thought once the Republicans officially had it, we would see oil kind of surge to the downside. Now, I know the Republican Party gets kind of linked with the oil industry, but at the same time, gas prices are one of the biggest hot buttons right now, right? One of the biggest hot buttons, and they're trying to point fingers to everybody else. So with them officially owning the Senate, or I'm sorry, not the Senate, the House, it's easy now to be able to say, hey, listen, whether they have anything to do with it or not, now that they have gotten voted in, if the price of oil goes down now as kind of like the linchpin of when it happened, now all of a sudden the GOP can claim credit for getting oil under control because the Democrats screwed it up for so long, right? So it is one of those ones. Again, it's down 2.5%. Yesterday, we saw a bigger down draw than expected, and yet oil is continuing to collapse. And again, I think a lot of this has to do with politics right now. Now, we are at 78 on the upside, so I'm okay with that one. I just want to show you where we're at with this one. We're down here at the 83 mark. Right here, this is the 83 mark right here. We've sliced through that a few times. This shouldn't hold. The next real opportunity to hold is down at 81.89. So again, we got a little bit more room to run on this one. There are obviously buyers in this area. Are they great buyers? Is it an area where you're looking at this and you're like, oh man, this is awesome. This is the best thing ever. I can't wait to go long. No, it's not one of those type scenarios. So be very, very cautious with it. Sorry. So I like oil short right now. I know it's down big right now. I do think it continues to deteriorate down again, and really kind of looking for a push off this level. We've used it in the past, but I'm really looking right now as a target overall to the downside. And again, I'm going to change this into black, which means it's a profit target, 81.90, and I kind of like where that is, just for the fact of it being right past 82. People are going to be looking at that as having 82 as a target, and it's able to kind of push a little bit lower. So I like this one. I'm good with this one. Sorry, I was looking at something. I guess? No? Maybe? No? Yeah. No. Yes. Sorry. Yeah, so I think that's where our target is. And again, could we get reversal off of that one? I think it's actually not in a bad area. I could actually be swayed, and I think that's not bad. Natural gas. So natural gas, we had a monstrous move, and I talked about this earlier. Now, natural gas, as you can see, we pulled back up again, and we talked about that trade before. We got front run here, and again, this black line was the profit target for the parabolic retracement. You can see that it turned there. Now we're back up in that same level, and actually, this should be down. That should be there. There, and 1 to 3 is right there. All right, so that trade was still basically safe. As you can see, if I move this across now, again, using that same level, there's where the trade is, and you can see we actually did tag the 1 to 3 this morning. Obviously, it came back up and the line did not follow. So I would say right now it's an interesting spot. I actually do like this one more for a short right now. Again, there is a level just a little bit higher. Again, if you want to be aggressive on there, you could say, hey, listen, we're right there. It's 10:30. This thing has already come back up again. We're fighting and struggling. Yeah, I would say that there is probably a short. Everything else is down. This is the only one that's up. And the question is, at 10:30 right now, if we reverse this one and continue the downward pattern, we should roll back down again. And right now, profit taking wise, we're kind of looking at profit taking in this level. So it's there. The other thing I'm going to point out is this old level, again, violated levels. There was a Harry Potter off of it, right? There's 1, there's 2, there's 3. We based, oh, it's breaking. It went up, it based, it pulled back, and boom, it was a long base trade off of that. Now, this was like midnight. I know not everybody's trading natural gas at midnight, but there was a trade there. With that said, if I move this down just a little bit, now all of a sudden we have a Harry Potter. So we do have a short coming up in natural gas as well, which, again, I'm cool with that. Natural gas means more to me than than gasoline, right? For the most part, Melissa and I both work from home. She's starting a new job in basically 2 weeks, to where she'll have to go to the office a few days a week. but it's still not, we're still not like hour commuters or anything like that. So gas prices are not as important for me. But natural gas prices, yeah, I have a love-hate relationship with propane and natural gas. So I would say there is a potential setup coming in for this one. Profit target is going to be down here at 956. There's going to be a short base trade right here, and here. A break of 614 to the downside. All right. Gold. Again, we talked about gold coming down. We were hoping to go down and then up. We went up, and then now we are pushing back down again. I still think this level down here, again, it was the top. We were looking for it to push all the way back down again. It's given us that slow grind, and really, if you're wondering what I mean by slow grind, look at all the wicks in here. Where the wicks are bigger than the bodies of the candle, that's grind. And it's just continuing to push down, down, down. I do think we have an area, though, where we have a little bit of a reprieve coming in, and if you are short, I think you need to make sure you get your profit out of this one. Probably by here, 149. I'm sorry, 1749.50. Buyers are going to be stepping in there. Again, if you are short, take your profit. There is a Harry Potter based trade in this one. It's funny that this is almost at the peak. We had this big parabolic move. There's also going to be a short here. And again, talking about how, listen, I hope that, inflation slows down or, inflation stops in 2023 means it's still happening. They are still going to raise interest rates. We already know that. I think this one comes down basis and pushes back. So, yeah, it's kind of set up. But again, if you are short from yesterday, your short is still good. Get your profit at 1749 as we look to break through. This is 1742. Drop, base, pull back, tag it. Profit target is going to be down here. And again, ultimately, you need to make sure that you get out here. Okay. So again, 1723. 1723 to the downside is where your profit target would be for one. Profit target number two is going to be here. Okay. And again, if we take a bounce, I'm cool with that. This was really kind of that news bounce off of it, but we do know we have a confirmed set of buyers in here and the 23.6. So there is a long trade. But I want to stay bearish on it. If you guys want to play it in an intraday kind of pullback, sure. There is a long, but I like the short more than anything else. Silver. Look at that. We talked about the 23.6. Look, 1, 2, 3. We said we're not really interested in taking this one long. And it did fail. It did pull down. It did kind of go back again. Now, I am surprised, and it did chop through. I am surprised you didn't get a little bit more retracement off this 21 level. It had pushed it pretty deep. Here's the original level formation. Here's the pushing pretty deep in there. But again, being 21, it is psychological. You can see it got front run, kind of came back and grabbed more sellers, and then really chopped back and forth through, and you can see it's chopping now. So I'd really like to see what it does when it comes down here. This is not an amazing base level. It's already pushed pretty deep. It is kind of snuck right behind the 50. If you are short silver, I think you're still good to go right now. Look to take profit at 2055. All right, 2055 will get you out of the trade before the artificial buyers at the 50 as well as this demand zone get back into a trade. So, is a push. Just watch out for that 2050. It's going to be a level. And then after that, we obviously have a push down to the 20 mark. It's doing what it's supposed to do, maybe a little bit more exaggerated at this point. So, yeah, it's okay. Yeah, I think we wait for that one to the downside. Looking at these guys, you can see, again, sorry, wanted to go with Apple. Apple, that front run yesterday, unfortunately, kind of kept us down. You see we're based. Looking at Apple right now, it does give us a bottom. It did kind of bounce off where we had sellers. But if you are looking to trade Apple, actually, we'll do it this way with Fibs. You can see we kind of have a gap here. And typically gaps we want to watch out for. There's a gap sitting right there. Right? And it's kind of front runs the 50. And look at all the drama at the 50, 61.8. So I would say right now, Apple, guys, kind of looks more like a short for me, unless something major happens in the market. Just on a technical basis, again, we're not necessarily trading individual stocks here. I am prohibited from trading individual stocks, just for full transparency. Nothing I did, it's obviously because of my wife, but I cannot trade individual stocks. So, but to me, Apple looks more of a short here. Tesla. All right, Tesla, kind of the same thing. We have that gap, kind of a pullback. We're kind of in a racetrack right now. Tesla also looks like it has the ability to come all the way back down to this level. And we talked yesterday about retracing this back down to 76.40. We got the red in the overnight. If we have that reversal from the opening print and everything starts to turn really, really sour, looks like Tesla can also come back to the downside. So, nothing in that pattern looks great. If you want to run fibs of that one from where like the most recent high to where we are, you can see the 23 is also sitting at a gap level. So, yeah, there's definitely some signs out that are like kind of like, Not the best, right? Not the best. Looking at opening print today. All right, so let's get the morning. Again, 8:30, 9:40. Okay, and we also know that we had Bullard speaking as well about an hour ago, right at the open. Okay, so a little bit of risk today in being able to trade these for the opening prints. So here's where we were sitting. Right here, this third green in, or actually fourth candle, right? 1, 2, 3, and 4. Here's your opening print. So looking back, this is an old level. We kind of actually just went through it a bit. Actually, let's adjust it from the old one. There's going to be your base and your touch, okay? That's where you're standing for opening print, okay? Now, if you use that as a risk level, a lot of times you want to kind of see, are we more near term? Here's an area up top that you kind of need to watch out for, right? There's your long position right there. And your 1 to 3 is, unfortunately, right there. So whether or not you wanted to take this for an opening print trade is kind of based off your risk level. There, unfortunately, was not enough room to get a 1 to 3 base trade in. It was a downtrend. We were going off a level. The 9:30 print is, like I said, is the green one. You would have had to get into this trade at 9:15 in the morning. Okay, so from 8:30 down, it did rush into there. Right now, you'd still be positive in the trade. You'd be up about 1 to 2.5 or 1 to 1.5. Actually, it's 1 to 3 right now. At its peak, you made it to 1 to 1.8. So a little bit risky of a trade. It is still technically in the green. We'll see whether it does anything. But again, this is one of those ones you could have taken it. With it getting to 10:30 right now, again, if you wanted to bank the profit on this one, you absolutely could. Understand if you use this one for opening print, you did get into a reversal. You are obviously positive in the trade. You just didn't have a full range of being able to move on this one. That's the biggest problem, is the 1 to 3 was not there, which typically is what we're looking for. All right. So just be aware of that. Now, if we do come up to this level, I do like how the base was there. I love the fact that it was grinding means the buyers are kind of running out. I do think if we can get up today to this 39.42, I do think that there actually could be a short base trade in there. So we could see that turn and roll off of it. But again, if you are an opening print, you are in, you are positive. Again, stop loss is obviously above break even, so you can't lose any money on this trade unless there's a gap, okay? And Q. And Q kind of had the same thing. You can see that the 9:15 candle went all the way down. This is that old level that we based in, right? This one is kind of already, again, running up. Let's see. Unfortunately, let's put a horizontal line on the bottom. I did not have this one drawn, unfortunately, today. You can see that this is where you're looking at. Is there a zone there? Yes. Would you have gotten into it? No, unfortunately. So this is one of those ones that, unfortunately, it would not have been an opening print. But where we are right now, you could say, hey, listen, there's the zone, right? Yeah, let me draw this one for you correctly. Boom, 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 right there. Actually, I guess you could use the overnight one here. 3:15, 12. Yeah, here would be your overnight high. So there will be people looking at this one right now. And again, actually, it's probably there is probably how you're going to do it. Let's put a short position on this. And 1 to 3 goes to right there. Okay. So again, this one is a little bit farther ahead. It did not give us the long entry. That same zone, again, we're about to hit it. And yes, we're hitting it right here. It is a 50% retracement based off the overnight high to low. So again, a couple different regions you look at it. Now, at this one's peak, it's already started to pull back a little bit, but it was at a 1.15. So this one also should be a free trade. You're not going to get stopped out on this one. If it starts to cut back and forth again, it goes against what we're looking for anyway. There we go. I'll just do it. Says 2.99, but you guys will see. So that one also could be a trade that you're in. Again, this is more of a reversal than anything else. It's a 10:30 reversal. Opening print did not qualify. So there you go. YM. Also pulling right back up at that same level. Take fibs, pull it from the overnight high to low. You can see that, hey, listen, we're a little bit deep on this one. Drawing it, you can say that, hey, listen, there's your base. There's your confirmation off that level. So we are also hitting it here. It also looks similar. Again, this will be set up for a short. So again, this is a 10:30 reversal base trade. Right there. Now, opening print, you can see the opening print was in the range of the 50. The problem with this one is this is the zone that you were dealing with, okay? That's how you're going to have to draw your zone, is right there. I don't even know on a 5 minute. Can we see it on a 5? Not really. See how it's just chop, chop, and then a confirmation? It doesn't make a difference if it's on a 5 or a 15. That's the zone that you're dealing with, right? I would say it's a riskier zone. If you did take it, 930 is right here. You would have to take this trade at 9. So is it a zone? Yes. Is it risky? Yes. Is this a little bit of hindsighting? Yes, all at the same time. But whether you took it or not, again, if you did take it, you were out 1 to 3 on the top side. If you're looking for a 1030 reversal, again, there is a level there. It is a little bit of a front run on the 50, so just keep that in mind. But there was a base, a pushback, and a comeback, and there was a confirmation of it right here. So kind of similar to what the NQ is. Again, NQ and YM are the two strongest pairs today. So again, just keep that in mind when you're dealing with both these two. Now the Russell. The Russell opening print, the 9 candles sent it up, the 930 is right there. Unfortunately, it's not really in a zone. Even if you go back, you can see it's just below the 50. There's nothing in here. There's nothing. So it's absolutely not a long base trade setup for today. This one has a similar setup as well. Unfortunately, the overnight on this one is a little bit harder to grab. So if you take the most recent kind of pivot, high to low, you can see that this is where kind of the zone that we'd be looking for, right, to go short. It's not quite there. There is one right now. Right, you can say, well, let's see. Here's the last kind of overnight. There is one there. I kind of like the most recent pivot versus the overnight because you had this piece. Why use this one when you could technically use this, right? And now it's kind of like, well, wait a second. Now it's up. Oh, that makes sense, right? There's the last kind of pivot point. You can see that there was obviously a trend change in here. So I feel like you really need to use the top one. There'll be people that draw 12 fibs in here until it matches up to what they want. I really feel like that's the level we're looking for on this one to come back up to. It'd be the 81.41. Now, if it turns and does grab this level and go down, yeah, you could look at this and say, hey, listen, there's your basing level, there's your push, and there's your confirmation. So we are there. It looks very, very similar to what the NQ and YM both have. So take it for what it's worth. It looks very similar to NQ and YM. Russell is technically the weakest of all of them. So if things are going to turn and get nasty, you would assume that it would do it here, but again, it is a little bit overextended at this point. So as far as opening prints go, unfortunately, having all those speeches, there's only, ES and NQ really the only ones that really had much in there. 1030 reversals, though, across the board look great, right? So there we go. That's what we got for today. So with that said, that's it for today. Like I said, I want to continue to see this one to deteriorate down. That's kind of the biggest one I'm looking at right now. And then again, a lot of the currency pairs, like you're seeing pullbacks. Yeah, right. You're seeing some pullbacks in some of these things. So yeah, we need them to come just a little bit more. Look, we drew this and said, hey, we'd be looking for sells, and look, it's already, how much is it down since we said that? 25 pips. So yeah, they're all reversing as they should. Let's see, did we get any more decent stuff? Look at that. Came in as exactly expected. Goldman Sachs sees China growth picking up in second half of 2023. Here you go. Greater potential for shocks in current uncertain circumstances. Raising rates. Glitz market. Is difficult to financially stability risk at this time. U.S. inflation is unacceptably high. Yep. It's like the standard message. So Messer didn't really say much. Yeah. So, and again, we're basically where we are, except pound is starting to deteriorate a little bit. All right, so that's it for today. So let's go ahead and do the drawing. Will won yesterday, so Will will be going for 100. Everybody else will be going for 25. Who are we missing today? We're missing somebody today. Ernest, yeah. I was like, he's talking in chat. Where the heck is he? Actually, normally we've been pulling 9. I don't know where the other guys. All right, let's close it down. You guys had your opportunities. You had your chances. All right, let's see if Will pulls a double. And again, Will's like, yeah, he doesn't do this often, but he did today. So, all right, winner of today's drawing is Neuro. Man, look at this. So we've traded this back between Ernest, Will, and now Neuro, all the big players. So everybody's trading around, man. This is like Thanksgiving here, right? Everybody gets some. All right, there we go. 25 chips. All right, so next 24 hours. Again, we do have pound retail sales expected to be positive. I'm curious to see if this number is going to be negative or lower than expected, if this could be a big pound weakness-based trade in the overnight. Kind of see where we push, guys. If you're 10, 12 o'clock at night and you see this thing driving higher, that could be a telltale sign that we're looking to short that one tomorrow. And again, Lagarde and then existing home sales, which is also expected to deteriorate even more. So again, not a very busy Friday, but we'll see how it goes. We'll be back on tomorrow morning at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. With that said, I'm out of here. I'll catch you guys. Thank you so much for joining, and I'll see you then.